Why is it that there are millions of guitar players in the world, but so many of them struggle to break out of the intermediate stage and get to the level that they've truly dreamed of? I mean, dude, I was one of them for a long time. In my early days of playing guitar, the gains came super fast and I was soaking up all this new knowledge, but then the plateau came just as quickly and I didn't know what to do about it. I felt completely stuck and I didn't know why, because I was playing every day. Why wasn't I improving? Turns out the majority of us get to this stage, and the difference between the folks at the top of their game versus us who are stuck at intermediate is one key thing. And no, it's nothing to do with knowing every note on the fretboard, despite what Corey Wong says. Luckily, it's something you can start doing right away and start to see gains, and I'm going to explain it using this system. Deliberate practice can be defined as a purposeful, focused and systematic approach to improving a specific skill, characterized by immediate feedback and a focus on identifying and addressing weaknesses rather than simply repeating actions.
Wow, that's a lot of words. Too bad I'm not reading them.
What that actually means is how you practice guitar makes all the difference, and what you're doing now might not be helping you, it might even be making you get worse. Now you might be sat there thinking, Jack, I deliberately pick up my guitar every day and play for hours. I'm already doing that, so why isn't it working? That's a fair question, dude, but let me ask you something. When you play every day for hours, are you sat there playing the stuff that you already can play well, or are you specifically working on the stuff that you can't play? That's the key difference. That's exactly where I fell down as a young guitar player. After a couple of years, I was still playing guitar for hours every day, but nobody ever told me that playing the same Killswitch Engage, Trivium and Lamb of God songs over and over again was never going to make me into a better guitar player. That's why the gains came fast at first. Everything you do when you start playing guitar is a new skill, so you keep seeing improvement after improvement, but if you're not careful, after a while you just start to play guitar and not practice guitar. That means you stop improving. So if you want to avoid the intermediate plateau, do this. Focusing on the right elements of your practice time is absolutely crucial to getting the quickest results. You need to start your practice time by deciding what your goal is. So maybe you want to learn sweep picking, or maybe there's a particular riff you want to learn. Maybe it's just a song that you think absolutely rips. Whatever it is, your focus needs to be on that particular thing for a section of your practice time every time you pick up your guitar. But dude, don't think you need to dedicate all your practice time on guitar to that one thing that you've chosen, because honestly, that'll get fucking boring pretty fast. Studies show that deliberate practice actually works better in shorter intervals. For kids, it's like 15 minutes at a time, and for adults, it's closer to an hour. So let's say you've got 2 hours of practice time. Use one of them to focus completely on the skills that you're trying to acquire. And don't worry if you've got even less time than that and still want to see some gains, because you can split whatever time you've got down into focus time and fun time. 30 minutes focus, 30 minutes fun if you've only got like an hour a day, for example. Now you've got your focus time and the thing that you want to improve at, it's time to go deeper. Let's say you've chosen a song to learn and the first few bars or the first verse comes super easily to you, but then fucking bam, you're hit with a section that's just way too difficult. Most people would just roll the song back to the beginning and start playing it all again until they hit the hard part expecting something different, but you want to beat this. What you need to do now is take that section that you're finding way too fucking difficult and focus entirely on that in your practice time. Practice it slower and analyze the section to find the thing that is actually causing the problem for you, and then intentionally work on that skill. Over a few days, hone your abilities until you can play that section almost every single time without issue. Then all you need to do is rinse and repeat that process until you're all the way through the song. It's the constant forward motion of identifying the problem areas of your playing and intentionally working on them that will make you a sick guitar player faster. This is almost certainly the most important idea from the deliberate practice thing, but why stop there when you can make it even more effective? If you want to take deliberate practice even further, planning is key, dude. You should write down the goal that you're actively working on, and then after every practice session, just take a couple of minutes to reflect on how it went. Keep notes of things like the speed you can play the part you're working on cleanly versus how fast it needs to be, and see how close you are. Write down the things that you think you did well during that practice session and the things that you've not quite got the hang of yet. First, it gives you a cool record of how much you're actually improving on guitar, and it's something you can look back on for a bit of positive reinforcement to see just how far you're getting. Next, it gives you a real-time breakdown of the things that you might want to focus on next to get better at guitar. Say you managed to learn a song all the way through, but you're not super happy with the tapping part because there was loads of string noise. If you noted that down, you can look back at that problem and make an actual decision as to whether that's something you really want to work on. Finally, just training yourself to think objectively about out your abilities will give you a better idea of who you are as a guitar player, and that'll make you better than most other guitarists around. But what's the S for? Slow down. Now, before you click off this video because you think you've heard this advice from every guitar teacher around, I actually think the way this is taught is wrong. People say it all the time, you need to play slow to play fast or something similar, but that doesn't fix a massive issue with it. When you play slow, you're physically teaching yourself to play slow, so when you come to play it fast, the movements are going to be different. Let me show you what I mean. If I was going to play a 4-note burst slowly, this is what you would get. Versus if I play it fast. Notice how slowly I lift my fingers higher off the fretboard, I hold my pick at a more parallel angle, and I move my picking hand way more. If I practice this for days on end, I'm going to train my muscle memory that this is the correct way to play it. But look at it fast. My fretting fingers stay closer to the board, my pick's more angled, and my picking hand is moving way less and hitting the strings lighter. Practicing slowly is the way you build your muscle memory so that guitar parts become second nature. That means that you need to make sure your movements are as close to perfect as possible when you're practicing slowly to make sure your muscle memory is spot on. It's no use at all practicing slowly and training your muscle memory to lift your fingers too high off the board or to make massive picking movements, because that's just going to ruin your progress. Be intentional and careful with how you move your hands when you're practicing slowly. Stay relaxed, and after a few days you'll be able to start bringing the speeds up with the same precise movements. And remember dude, this stuff takes time. There is no secret clickbait exercise that can turn you into a super shredder in minutes. Be kind to yourself and make sure you recognise all the small steps towards becoming the best guitar player that you know. I know it gets really difficult sometimes, and if you're thinking about quitting guitar, don't. You absolutely can get through it, and you can watch this video to find out how. Thank you mate, keep playing. I'll see you in the next one.